Okay.
If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. If I find my way home, yeah. If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. If I find my way home, yeah.
This is the move for those who.
What we do here is go back.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
To see what's behind these closed doors, but I promise you, baby, I'll always be
on, everybody? Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. Let's not do that English thing tonight, folks. Let's not do it tonight. I'm not prepared for messing up my English tonight. Not doing it. So, welcome, everybody, to the Child of Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. And tonight's stream is, features 35% less technical difficulties as opposed to Wednesday's stream. So hopefully we can keep it that way. And yes, only 35% so far because we started the stream on time. I have my little remote app on my phone going tonight, which is a plus. Yeah, feeling good. Yeah, looking good, might I say. So, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday! We made it! Woohoo! It's Friday. It might be Saturday where you are. I don't know. But for most of us, and me, including me, it's Friday, man. So, love Friday. Because it's the weekend. Yes. Anyway, check it out. I got the old school 90s Gundam logo that I designed on tonight. This is the Washington colors. These, if you're not familiar with this type of logo, like back in the 90s, there was a company called Starter. Still around, not as much anymore, but they were very, very popular back then. They made hats, they made jackets. All us cool kids were, you know, rocking those back in the day. And this kind of font, this logo was kind of very popular back then, so I thought I'd bring it back and, you know, give it a Gundam look, right? So I kind of designed this, and then, you know, I named the color combinations after sports teams, after, you know, their cities, right? Which Starter was, they made sports apparel and everything. So this is the Washington in basically for the Washington Redskins here in the States, American football team, for those of you overseas. And they come in a bunch of different colors. They're awesome. Go ahead and pick you up one at the Child of Mecha store. childofmecha.com. Hit the store button. We got all sorts of stuff in there. We got hats. We got t-shirts, bags, and check this out. This is going to be something new in the lineup. Ooh, it's a pillow, soft and fluffy. It's so comfy. I've had this for a couple weeks, and I can definitively say that this is now my new favorite pillow. I really, really like it. It's super soft. The fabric is really nice and resilient. And the cool thing about this is that each one comes so that you can just unzip the cover on it. You can take the pillow out, wash the cover, and once it's done, zip it back on. You're ready to sleep the day away. So there you go. Got to represent for the Reapers too, right? So, we're gonna make some of these. They'll be available in the near future, let's say. I don't want to give a definitive date or time frame, but soon-ish, shall we? So those are really nice. They actually are going to come, I think, in two sizes. They've got the square one, which I believe is 18 by 18, and then they've got a wide one, which I don't offhand remember the dimensions of that, but it's wider. It's more kind of a almost like an arm pillow type of thing. So those will be cool, right? Those will be up soon, and working on the Chisel Discipline shirts as well. Trying different color combinations, trying to dial that in to what you guys might think is cool. So, or at least what I think is cool, right? So, we're gonna have the OG Chisel Discipline shirt, the tan with the red. That's definite. That will definitely be there. But we're gonna try some other cool colors. Of course, we'll have a black shirt for all of you people that love your black shirts. We're gonna have that. we'll have some interesting choices. Let's put it that way, shall we? All right. So, without further ado, go hit up www.gofundme.com/gunplatalk. Because we're holding a fundraiser / giveaway, and it's going to a good cause, the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, and everybody who enters will be entered into, or I should say, everybody that donates will be entered into the giveaway, where you're going to win a perfect grade ashtray red frame. It's a mouthful, right? It's over there across the room. I'm not going to go grab it and hold it up for you like I usually do. And we're getting some other prizes donated to us by Win I Mong, Paint Pusher on Facebook. It's going to give us some of those little cool resin busts that he did a while back. He found a few of them. He's going to send them over. He actually messaged me yesterday. He said they're on their way. So just a few more weeks, they should be in hand and ready to give out to a bunch of lucky donors. So if you haven't donated to the fundraiser yet, please do so if you have the ability. If not, we understand not everybody's in the position to be able to donate hard-earned money. But if you could, as a consolation to us, share it. Share it to your Facebook page, share it to your friends, your family, your loved ones, all that good stuff. Maybe post it in your favorite Gunpla group, who knows? Maybe make a video about it. That would be amazing. So if you could do that for us, we'd appreciate that, right? So before we begin, we've got a book. We'll actually review a book tonight. And before we begin, the tools and everything that you see me working on are available in the description just below here on YouTube, and maybe to the side, or that side actually, on Facebook. And there's going to be a lot of different tools there. There's going to be some books in there for you to take a look at, get some inspiration for your next project. I've also added a new list there for all of the streaming gear that we use, both on the Chata Mecha live stream and on Gunpla Talk. So for those of you that are interested in that sort of thing, go check out the gear that I use. I'm going to put together like an article, tutorial maybe, about live streaming, and hopefully that'll help you guys out if you're into that, right? Because obviously the computer specs aren't on the list because I built it myself, and this is the one that I have running is old. So you don't need a powerhouse system to be able to do live streaming, right? So I'll document all that, put that on the Chata Mecha website. I'll let you know when that's up and available. Again, no time frame, soon-ish. So keep an eye out for that. But without any further ado, let's take a look at this book that I kind of showed you on Wednesday, shall we? Let's switch to 2 cameras. There we are. And whoop, there we go. This is a big old book too, man. This is The Art of Chappie. Some people weren't cool with the movie, and I get it. Die Antwoord is, you either love him or hate him, I guess I'm one of those rare individuals that don't necessarily mind them. I really like the movie. So some people didn't. I really liked it. I thought it was sweet, especially kind of Chappie kind of growing up and everything. And there's nothing that's funnier than Chappie stealing the cars, with the rubber chicken and everything like that. You steal daddy's cars. It's super funny. Super, super funny. So let's take a look at this here real quick. This is an interesting book. This is, like I said, a big book. Obviously, it's hardly fitting on the screen here, right? This is about the size of the Elysium book. It makes sense because they're both by Neil Blomkamp, right? So let's thumb through this here right quick. You've got a lot of, obviously, Die Antwoord, or D Antwoord, I don't know how you pronounce it, art, which is kind of weird, but, it is what it is. If you're a fan of the movie, you'll probably like this book. if you were on the fence about it, you may not like this book. There are a few things in here that, for me, are totally worth the price of this book. So let's get into it. What's funny, and this is the part that I really like about this book. Let me show you the table of contents. Obviously, that's not a really intriguing part of most books. It's just there, right? So it breaks it down: the meat, which are the characters; the metal, which are the robots; locations, vehicles, and gear. I just like that. I don't know. I thought it was funny because they called the people meat. It's funny. Anyway, so it's got different weird little drawings. Obviously, Ninja and Yolandi. It's got the little chappy kind of thing going here. It's that all that type of stuff is very sprinkled in this book. It's kind of a charming thing, but it may not necessarily be that to people that may not like the movie, right? So you've got some really cool kind of introductory looks at the different robots and things, different color schemes, and I really kind of dig these different color schemes and all that. The mechanics that are drawn into this are really cool as well. You've got some kind of video tests, some renders on the 3D animation and everything, which are really, really cool. And you kind of keep going. This is all kind of introduction, and then you get into the meat, right? The different characters and stuff, and this kind of isn't all that wonderful, but it is interesting. Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. There you go. Bailey Meatbags, nice. Good one there, Bailey. So we'll get through this real quick. Ninja, he's a bit annoying in the movie, I have to admit. One thing that I really dig, though, of his was the kind of the helmet and the the graphic design for his vest and everything. He's got different logos and stuff like that on the helmet and everything. Those were kind of cool. I did like that. Otherwise, very annoying. Let's get through all this, because this is Hippo. He was a good character. I liked him. Hippo. I didn't know his name until I actually saw it in the book. I'll be honest. All right, so here's what we're gonna focus on: the metal. This is what everybody really wants to see, right? So you've got Chappie, and then you've got some some up close images of some concept art and things, and then you've got different color combinations here, which are really interesting. And you've kind of got like a navy and light gray color combination here, different concepts of what the mechanics, electronics would be. Very very interesting to look at the graphic design that they used while making this. And you've got some different like hard drive looking type things, and you've got a more refined head design here with the different all the different screws and everything on the side of the head, and then some of the coverings are really interesting. Would love to incorporate some of that in a future build. Then you got some different logo and decal and warning placements and things like that on here. Very kind of cool. And you can see shit, what's his name? Shoot, I forget. Copley, Shartle Copley. Yeah, playing Chappie. Great actor too, by the way. He was awesome in Elysium. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed him in that. Also, A-Team, believe it or not, he was funny as hell in that movie. It wasn't a great movie, I'll be honest with you, but he was good in it. So damage progression throughout the movie. Different. How the parts are swapped out and things like that. Pretty interesting. And you've got kind of Chappie beat to hell. and the progression, wearing the chains, the graffiti, all that, pretty cool. And then you got Chappie just basically demolished with all the bullet holes and everything, fighting the moose at the end. Speaking of which, here's the moose part. This part sells it. It completely sells this book. I don't know about you guys, but the moose was my favorite part in the entire movie. And not to say that the moose was so good that it robbed everything. That all I'm saying is that the moose was just tops. Everything else was still really good. I thought it was a good movie. So you got the different early concepts of the design for the moose. Humanoid concepts here too, and kind of like almost Ed 209 looking type of concept right down there. So pretty interesting all in all. And then the moose killing somebody. We didn't see that in the movie, but that would have been shocking, to say the least. And then this is really cool. You've got some more close-ups, some graphic design, some logos and stuff like that down here for the moose. Different iterations of that, which I really, really respect. And then obviously different color types of combinations. You've got the test, color schemes and everything here. You've got more of a police type of color schemes, and then obviously military color schemes down here, which are really, really cool because you don't see many of those in the movie. Freddie Torres, thank you for the subscribe there on YouTube, buddy. Welcome. Thank you. Hey, go check out Freddie's balls on those Gundam guys. His balls are great looking, by the way. He actually won a little bit. I think he won. He won, I think, what, second or third place at GBWC Anime Expo with his balls? I think so. His balls are amazing. You should definitely go check out his balls. Anyway. I know Kawaguchi had fun looking at Freddy's balls. Anyway. So different, again, different iterations of the moose, different equipment packages and things of that nature, different weaponized systems and things. Really cool. Here's like the boosters and stuff like that. Really interesting stuff. And here's kind of more, kind of battle damaged moose. And then you've got, actual production stills from, some of, basically the real, damaged things that they actually built, 1-to-1 scale, it looks like here. That does not look like CGI. That looks real deal. So that's pretty interesting there. So yeah, the moose actually is just great in this book. So, then you got the other scout robots, which are really interesting too, because you see different progressions. Like the back of this one is different from, all the rest that made it into the movie, because you have this, they had this kind of disc looking thing a la sort of Tron-ish, and then, the grab on here to kind of lift the droids and everything for maintenance and all that. But you've got kind of a more armored back here, which is really, really kind of cool looking. I kind of like that design better than what they had in the movie, to be honest with you. Interesting designs for shields. These are police shields, obviously, but these could definitely be brought over to maybe scratch build something for your next model, right? And then different color combinations for the police, robots and things like that. Different concepts there. And then also this is kind of neat how the shield connects. This is basically like a mount for the shield that goes on the arm. That's pretty neat, because, obviously you don't think of that when you're watching the movie, but when we build, say like a GM or something like that, we have to think about those mounting points for the shields and stuff, right? So those are pretty cool. And then different head designs throughout, the process here, different visors for the scout robots, which is pretty interesting. I like that. And Rory, the little weird assistant robot from the beginning. So interesting. And then it gets into kind of the locations and stuff. So we'll zip through the locations because there's not a ton of interest in the locations other than, say, like the Moose hangar bay and stuff. And you've got a bunch of pictures from the movie and stuff like that too. This is interesting, the Tetraball workshop with the different parts laid out for one of the scout robots. You can actually see much greater detail in these parts, especially the hand. The hand looks really, really cool. And then you've got one of the hanging robots. Let's see, get it in a frame right here on this page. You can kind of see where it's hooked into those grab-on hook type of things there, which is pretty interesting. Those are kind of cool. You can definitely kind of recreate that kind of look for maybe a GM or a Zaku or something like that. That would be interesting. Something like that. That would be neat. Carrying it around like a maintenance bay or something. That would be kind of cool, right? Let's see. Just kind of zip through this here. And then you got the Moose room. Okay, so this is kind of cool. I have to admit. More close-ups of the Moose. More close-ups of the Moose, the better, in my opinion. You've got, the Moose during takeoff. And you've got the different, panels and stuff like that. And you've got the artwork on the walls and warning symbols and everything. Pretty cool. And, come on now. So the Moose kind of virtual cockpit that Hugh Jackman kind of piloted there at the end of the movie. Deployment areas, police stations, all that. So, you kind of get the point because this is a decent book. It's not the best. Not the best book that I'll review or, I will be honest with you guys. But it was pretty cheap though, too. I think I got this for, under $20. And this is like normally a $40 book. So this isn't bad. Different weapons in the back here as well. Pretty interesting, little tidbits back here, guns and grenades. So, little nuggets of good stuff here and there, right? So, yeah, so there we go. That is Chappie, the art of the movie. If you're interested in that, go pick it up. Hit up the Amazon link down at the bottom, and you will be transported to all that stuff that I've already resourced for you. So, as you can maybe see on screen, the viewing angle is a little bit different for the second camera because I got my wall mount the other day and I hung it up, and it works amazingly. So it's awesome because I can just kind of have all this room. I don't have to worry about a tripod getting in my way, which is really, really nice. So, all right, so let's pull in and get to business, shall we? But first, let's check in with the chat because I know a bunch of you guys are talking over there, and let's get caught up, shall we? So let's see. Robert LaFlash is with us. Astrea Kai is with us. Ace Schultz Berkana. Maverick176. That's Mikkel. Good. Enrico Asa Nohashi is with us. Bailey, as always. Bro Builder, what's up, buddy? GamerBud01 Shield is with us. He's being attacked by adorable creatures. Interesting. Captain Weirdbeard says, yo, what's up, Captain Weirdbeard? Thank you for joining us. William Wilms is with us as well. Good stuff there. And let's see. Drummer Dude, he says, what's up, everyone? What's up, Drummer Dude? Thanks for watching. And let's just get through this. Mikkel says, Tim, who's Amber? Amber is my daughter. She's 10 years old. And I told her I'd have a little surprise for her this evening on the stream, and hopefully she tuned in and watched a little bit and saw It's all the sign. So that's who Amber is. Let's see. Keep going. Fudu Baoi is with us. Awesome. He says, they say, hello, all. Freddie Torres, as always, go check out his balls. Let's see. Keep it going. And Freddie asks, what books would you recommend for mech designs? Oh, man, check out the Amazon link because there's a ton of them in there, dude. My personal favorite is the Border Break book. It's awesome. So choice. It's really amazing book. The technical level of detail in that book is just superb. But yeah, definitely check out some of the other streams because we review books on pretty much every stream, and right at the beginning, so you don't have to scroll through the whole 2 hours to get to it, right? Carlo Castro is with us. He's got to clean the house. Wow, sucks for you, man. But thank you for watching. Appreciate that. Let's see. Bailey, he's covered a bunch of them already. Yeah, always at the beginning of his streams, so you get right to them. Damn. It's like Bailey's like, me and Bailey's like right here, man. That's crazy, right? So, all right. So let's check in with Facebook, shall we? Kira Yet is over there watching us. What's up, Kira? Thank you for watching. He wants to ask, the Double O Gundam movie, Awakening of Trailblazers, Gundam Mobile is Bandai only high grade their Gundam because I can't find other grade of these Gundams. Yeah, dude. So Bandai only produced high grades of pretty much everything in Double O except for the Exia and Double O variants, from what I remember. You know, the 144, 1100s, they're just the high grade versions, not you know, master grades or anything like that. Now, obviously, Exia and the Double O and all of the different variations of that have, you know, a ton of master grades, perfect grades, all that stuff. But the secondary players in Double O, unfortunately, do not have anything outside of the high grade line that I remember anyway. So, yeah, they're still good. They're still really good. I think I might pick up some just for, you know, probably kit bashing purposes, but they're still pretty fine models. And you can always take the armor off of that and slap it on an Exia and pretty much be good to go, right? So, Fudobaoi says, I really like Master Archive books and Gundam weapons. Yeah, those are great. They're just unfortunately not available on Amazon, which sucks, you know, right? But yeah, those are wonderful books as well. And let's see. Freddie Torres. Okay, cool. Usually miss the beginning of the streams. Not a worry. Just go back, check them out, and yeah, we've reviewed a bunch of them so far. Let's see. Bailey says, I'm referencing the Zaku Master Archive for my Master Grade Zaku. I have the old Zephranthes Gundam weapons for when I start the GPO-1. I'll get the Master Archive at some point. Yeah, that's a good one. And actually, for my GM Spartan, I'm using the line art from the GM version of the Gundam Archive, which is really nice, really nice, because it's got a lot of varying GMs in there, from the ground GMs to the Spartan, you know, all points in between, basically. Really good book, really good book. Carlo Castro, where did you get the chopper? Starting to put together tools for scribing, plot plate, etc. Cool. I actually got it on Amazon. And it wasn't all that expensive. So if you happen to live in the States, hit up the Amazon link, and you can find a handy dandy link to the chopper. Let's see. They do have the 1100 no grades. Oh, you know what? I forgot the GNX has a master grade. Totally forgot about that. Yeah, the GNX. That's the only other one, I think, in a master grade. Could be wrong, because I don't keep up with them. That's just not my flavor, right? Let's see. Let's see, keep it going. Where do we stop? Carlo Castro, what is a good starter kit for learning scribing? That's it's a good question. I myself use BMC chisels. It's just the ones that I particularly prefer. That's the ones that I kind of got in on the ground level, if you will. There's also MadWorks, which is really great. There's some other kind of secondary companies out there that are starting to make chisels, some of the Chinese brands and things like that. You can check Taobao if you're comfortable with ordering from there. Maybe use a third-party broker. Some of the bigger companies are starting to make chisels. I know Mr. Hobby is kind of delving into it. Wave tried to make chisels, but they just didn't succeed with it. Those were terrible chisels. So if you want a good set of chisels, I'd probably go with BMC or MadWorks. But if you don't want to spend a lot of money, then I would probably look into other alternatives at that point. So, good question. Excuse me. Julius Dembski's with us. He says, you inspired me to buy a chopper too. However, I did not see it on your Amazon tool list. Can you still get the credit for the reference? No, unfortunately, but hey, thanks for trying. Don't worry about it, man. It's not a big deal. The fact that you got the chopper is pretty damn awesome because it's a great tool, right? Let's see. Fudo Beoi, it is on my Insta somewhere. Okay, used the Master Archive to add details to my HGUC GM Sniper 2. Very, very cool, very cool. Let's see, Ace Schultz over here on YouTube. Oh man, sorry, had to go AFK and fix my model desk. My tray broke, LOL lame, but I fixed it without duct tape or super glue. Respect. Bailey says, I want both GM Master Archives. Dude, all the Master Archives are great. Fudo Beoi says, MadWorks are on the USA Gundam store if you are hunting those. That's true. USA Gundam store or Mr. Dash. What is it? Look up Mr. Dash on Facebook. You'll find a link to his shop as well. He's got those on there. BMCs can be procured also at USA Gundam store or Volks USA store, which is a very good store as well. A Schultz, I like a super detailed repair technical manual for Zaku's and GM. Me too. Dream Kitten over there on Twitch says, I can't see the chat. Well, Dream Kitten, that's a good point, because we're actually simulcasting on 3 different platforms: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So a lot of the chat that I'm going through right now is actually coming from YouTube. So that's why I'm kind of reading it off, so that people are able to interact even when they can't see the chat on their native platform. So, but thank you for watching, Dream Kitten. That's awesome. Bailey says, I like BMC and MadWorks. I jump between mine and get good results. Yeah, absolutely. Soravon Zero is holding it down for us over there on Twitch. As always, thank you, Soravon, for doing that. He says he's mostly looking at YouTube and Facebook. It's usually quiet over here. That's very true. It's usually kind of quiet, actually, on both Facebook and Twitch. Most of the crazies are on YouTube. That's just where people flock, I guess. I don't know why. But I like to give people options, so that's why I go to all 3. So watch it the way you want to watch it. Let's see. A Schultz says, too many Exia. Oh my God, too many. Yeah, I agree with that. Yep, totally agree with that. Astria Kai, I like to use art books of Nier Automata to base my custom IBO kits. The landscape from that game is so beautiful. Yeah. Whatever you use. Jeez, somebody's blowing up my little messenger here. Crazy. Yeah, whatever you want to use that will give you inspiration for something really cool, go for it. That's what I say. Let's see. William Wilms picked up this 1mm scriber from Wave to try it out. Couldn't pass up for the 600 yen price tag. Yeah, they're cheap for a reason. Cheap for a reason. It's shitty. Just shitty. Let's see. A. Schultz says there's a U-Star scribing kit with 5 sizes for that's only $50. Yeah, you know, U-Star is actually a pretty decent tool maker. I've got several things from there, and they don't make too bad of tools, I have to say. 01 Shield says kids are adorable. My birthday present was spending the last 4 hours with the twins. Aww. Right in the feels. That's cool, man. Jessica Murphy says, LMAO, I found it. Oh, that's Dream Kitten. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming over, Jessica. You're in the land of the crazies now. You've stepped in it. I don't know what to tell you, but but thank you for watching. We appreciate that, Jessica. Let's see. Carlo Castro, I picked up a U-Star and work up my way to the BMCs. Probably a good idea. Probably a good idea. Kenneth Sims says, hey, I'm late. Are you? I don't know. Maybe, what, half hour? We just kind of looked at a book. We looked at The Art of Chappie. We went through that. It was kind of cool. Not the best book, not the worst book, but yeah. Bailey says, shop. Okay, thank you, Bailey. Shop.studio-.net. I can never remember that for some reason. I never get the studio dash down. I don't know why. But yeah, he is, man, Kevin's great. So if you want to hit up a really good modeler, 3-time GBWC North American champion, I might add, go hit his website. Let's see. Futabe always says XE is not as bad as Unicorn, though. Speaking of all the different models, yeah, that's true. That is true. Let's see. A. Schultz says, I'm going to restock some BMC myself if anyone wants to join in. If I put it in with kit order, shipping is free into the U.S. Yeah, dude. And you know what? A. Schultz, good dude to buy from. Good dude to buy from. Like I said, I've ordered several things from him, and he's come through every single time. Great customer service. Great stuff. So hit him up on Facebook, Burkana Tier, T-Y-R, or A. Schultz right there in the good old YouTube chat. So check him out. A. Schultz says, the chopper is amazing. Yes, it is. Let's see. Yeah, Carlo Castro says, agree on too many Exias. True. Astria Kai says, get to the chopper. Good old our reference. It's classic, right? Vincent Longa's with us. What's up, everyone? Just joining. Still cleaning first round of primer on the Master Grade Psycho Zaku backpack. Very cool. Thank you for joining, and thank you for watching, Vincent. Good to see you again. All right, so now that we're caught up with the chat, let's get to business, shall we? We're going to do something pretty cool tonight because I actually prepped for tonight's show, and I hope you guys appreciate that. So let's show you something that I scratch built today. Obviously we're gonna need a super zoom on this because you guys can't appreciate the detail otherwise. So let's get it super zoomed in. 5x. There we go. So, as you can see, this is a teeny tiny little thing. I mean, look at this little guy. So this is what, maybe just a hair over 7, right? Just a hair over 7. That's a teeny tiny little guy. So these slats in here are all 1/4 millimeter thick, right? 1/4 millimeter thick. That's it. Where's my little pointer? Here it is. And the outside, the frame, if you will, is 1/2 millimeter thick. And this thing is just basically like a heatsink type vent. So it's 2 millimeters thick, chamfered all the way around for a nice finished look. And we're going to be building one of these tonight. I'm going to show you how to build one of these little guys, because you can use the same technique for heat sinks, for vents, all that good stuff. So we're going to be learning how to do this. Now, it's not hard. I will preface that. It's not hard to do. It's very tedious to do, though. Very tedious, especially with all of these little slats in here. I think there are 12 fins and then 13 connectors under, between them, right? So we're gonna get to it, shall we? Let's get a super zoom because we're not going to need that for what we're about to do. So we're going to put this little guy off to the side because we don't want to lose him. He's small, he's tiny, he doesn't want to go missing, end up on the side of a milk carton. We are going to pull our friend the Chopper in on this situation here. And so what I've got here is just a bunch of other fins and slats and stuff like that already assembled. And I'm going to kind of show you the beginnings of how to get to here, and then we're going to switch back to this particular part, finish it off, frame it, and we're going to make another vent. Okay, so let's put that one off to the side as well. Now, I've got my chopper still locked into 7mm here. So we're going to need 2 thicknesses of styrene strip. This is 1mm by 1/4mm thick, and this is 2mm by 1/4mm thick. Now, you don't have to use 1/4mm. You can use 1/2mm. You can use 1mm. It's all in the look that you want to go for. Me, personally, I wanted a much smaller, miniaturized look because I wanted to increase that illusion of scale, right? That's the name of the game. So we are going to be cutting some of these strips down. Now, I'm just going to be cutting a few, excuse me, just to kind of show you the technique involved in forming these individual slats that go into the heat sink or vent, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to form a few of these because this is the tedious part. This is just like, right? So let's get to cutting. So we'll cut maybe 2-3 of these. And since this is 1/4mm, you do have to be a little careful because it will jump once you cut it here on the chopper. For those of you that have the chopper, you probably know what I mean. So we're going to cut 3 of these. And so there's our 3. Whoop. Focus camera. There we go. There's our 3 pieces, right? We're going to put that strip off to the side here. Now we're going to do the same thing with our 1mm by 1/4mm. And another thing you can do is switch up the thickness of the slats with the connectors. You can use, say, like 1/4mm connectors that are low, or you could use 1mm or whatever. Vice versa with the slat pieces as well. So you can mix and match that. They don't have to be a consistent size. That's where the creativity and everything comes into play. So let's get 3 of these guys. Actually, we're going to cut 4 of these guys, and I'll show you why. 3 main fins, 4 connectors. And I will explain why that is, why you need 1 more connector. Shoot. That guy, come on, you get out of there. All right. So I'm going to show you why you need 1 more connector than the slats. Okay. So we're going to move these off the chopper and get these ready for the assembly process. And like I said, this is really just kind of the tedious part. This is not very glamorous, not very interesting, but it is crucial to this process. Absolutely 100% crucial. So we're going to get our Tamiya extra thin here. Now for bigger ones that don't necessarily call for major dexterity, like these thin little things, you can use super glue. I've done that a lot in the past for, bigger heat sinks and things like that. But for this, I do recommend something that gives you a little leeway in positioning, simply because these are so small. You're going to have a little bit of a challenge getting them properly set in place. So, all right, so eyes on, let's get to work. All right. So, next thing you're going to need is a sharp little hobby knife. This is my little NT cutter hobby knife that actually has become kind of my favorite hobby knife here at this point. I don't know why. I hated it in the beginning, but now, for some strange reason, it's just kind of taken over my #1 hobby knife spot. So, go figure, right? All right, so what we're going to do, now these connectors will not be seen. The only possibility of being seen is the very top edge of these connectors. So you can stab these with your hobby knife, and be perfectly fine and content, because you're not going to see that stab mark. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a little glue. We're going to pop that on here, and then we are going to press that onto the fin, the slat, whatever you want to call it, just a little bit below the edge of it. And what we want to do is we want to use the flat edge of our hobby knife to kind of press that down and make it level with, basically make both pieces level here, right? And we want to make sure it's centered, obviously. So we just kind of do that to both sides. Woo, get on camera there. Sorry about that, guys. So like I said, we're going to use this flat edge right here to even it up. We're going to do the same thing to the sides. Just make sure it's nice and even. And then there you have one complete fin, slat, whatever you want to call it. This little guy right here. So we're going to put him off to the side. We're going to do the same thing with the next one. Excuse me. We're going to pull that down. And for those of you that missed it, get a little glue on here. And like I said again, you want to position this initially just underneath the edge of this fin, slat, whatever. And then pick that up with your hobby knife. And then you can see, maybe. Yeah, you can kind of see there how it's a little offset, right? One's a little bit higher than the other. So we're going to use the flat edge of our hobby knife, press that down, make it nice and even. Easy peasy. Get it centered and even on both sides. Double check there. And then we've got another finished fin there. So now we've got one fin and two connectors. What are we doing with two connectors? Well, I'm glad you asked. This piece will act as the end piece. So I'll show you why here in a minute. Let's get the first connector popped on here. Let's get a little bit of glue on this guy. And same process, connect it, mount it just underneath the edge of that fin. And then use your hobby knife, center it up, even the heights, flatten that out nice and neat. You want to try to be as precise as you can here with this, because you will thank yourself in the long run. So there is the third finished fin, right? So we've got another connector here. So we're going to connect it actually to the other side of this fin. So we're going to get a little bit of glue on that. Pop that on there. Flip this fin over now and do the same thing to the other side. We want to install this again underneath the bottom edge of this, just slightly offset. And then we're going to, again, even this up. Going to flatten it and make sure it's even at the ends. And there's that. Okay, so now we have one fin with two connectors on either side, right? And we've got the two other fins here with just one connector. So now we've got to put them all together. Again, tedious operation, but very, very crucial. So what I like to do is keep one fin on the desk, and then you can, again, stab one of the other fins right in the connector. Hold that with your hobby knife, just kind of off to the side. And I like to use the back end of this to hold this fin down. Apply a little bit of glue to the one that's still on the table. And then basically do the same operation that we did before. And once that glue starts to grip, you'll be able to pick that up. Now, since this is really thin, what you can do is use a nice pair of tweezers and take that and put that in between, and that tweezer pressure will press those together. And you can even squeeze, focus camera, come on, killing me camera. There we go. You can use you can even squeeze this to push those pieces together. And make sure that these are lined up in all directions. Okay? So you've got that started. Now we've got the third one here. And we're going to do the same exact operation. Okay. Make sure these are nice and even. That's going to be crucial. You can put the bottom edge down on your cutting mat and use that to help even these out. Press these between like your fingernails and stuff like that. Another thing that I like to do to align these is use my digital calipers, right? Because these jaws are perfectly parallel, or at least they should be, right? So what you can do is put these in here vertically like this, and you will align those. You press these together, and those will align perfectly. Now you're going to have to align these in a bunch of different directions because they will have a tendency to migrate a little bit upon getting a bunch of different fins in here. So you do have to kind of switch it in different directions and really kind of make sure that it's aligned properly at a 90-degree angle on all directions. But there is the beginnings of our fins for our heatsink and vents. So let's get a comparison shot here, and let's get super zoomed in so you can kind of see what we did here. So there's what we've got so far, right? Now, what you'll notice is some of these are a little unevenly spaced, and that's not a big deal because you can use like a pair of tweezers or even like a 0.2 millimeter chisel like this one here, and you can just kind of go through each one and just kind of even out the spacing between them, just kind of like this. And even, you know, if you have to kind of pull one off to the side a little bit and reposition it, not a big deal either. Fins of this size and like a heatsink of this size, really, really, really temperamental to alignment and things like that. So I had a kind of a tough time aligning all the fins and everything, but we got it pretty decently. So that looks a lot better than it did just a few seconds ago, and I haven't even really messed with it all that much. So these are just more tedious. You have to take your time with these more than anything. So you've got the beginnings there, and then there's kind of the end product after 12 repetitions of that. And yeah, it's going to be very, very tedious. It's a long process to make this size. Now, again, if you're using wider dimensional strips, it'll probably go much quicker. It's still going to be tedious. I'm not going to lie to you. But once you get done, man, these are just going to be so custom looking and look really, really nice. So we're going to set this little starter guy off to the side here. We're going to work with this guy. Now, once you have these all together, what I recommend is just slathering the bottom with Tamiya Extra Thin. What that's going to do is it's going to fill in any gaps on the bottom, and it's also going to basically soften the bottom out and even it up really, really nice, right? So let's get out of super zoom here because we don't need that for the next part here. And so once this Tamiya Extra Thin on the bottom is basically just cured up and everything, we want to even the bottom out. So we're just going to use, you know, a sanding block here, and we're just going to just sand that smooth. And we're going to change directions of it because we don't want the pressure that we apply to this making any points on the bottom uneven, right? So we're going to rotate it every few passes, and that's going to get it super, super nice and smooth as a baby's butt here, hopefully. And it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is not perfectly smooth. There are a little bit of waves, but it's not a big deal. So we're just going to sand this just a tad bit more, just because I'm a perfectionist at this thing. And much better, much smoother, a lot less waves. Let's check height variances, because that's going to be an important thing. And let's check the good old height on this end. Look at that. 2 millimeter almost on the, look at that, 2 millimeter on the dot. Oh, going back and forth. Look at that. Crazy. Let's check the other side. Money. 2 millimeter. So that's when you know you have the bottom perfectly just dead ass smooth, and the height is the same throughout that vent, because that's going to be super, super important. So now that we've got this smooth, the bottom anyway, now we've got to smooth out this side and this side, right? Because you're going to see the pieces of plastic are just kind of wavy and just kind of crap looking. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our sanding block again, and let's zoom out just a little bit so I have a little bit more room to work on camera for you guys here. And we're just going to sand this side smooth. Just sand it down smooth, right? And again, you want to make sure that you're not applying pressure to any one side. So that's looking pretty good. Looking nice and even. Let's double check. You always want to double check with your calipers to make sure that you're not sanding more on one side as compared to the other, because that will make this vent uneven. Okay, that's looking pretty smooth almost. That looks pretty nice. And we're going to eyeball it there for squareness. That looks pretty good. If you're not 100% sure if it's nice and square, man, use a right angle like this. And that's just dead ass square right there. I'm happy with that. Very nice. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side, because the other side's, you know, still a mess. So this has got to be perfect, you guys. It's got to be perfect. Never compromise your attention to detail. That's what my website says anyways. I don't know. We'll get back with the chat here in a moment, because I want to catch up with you guys, because I know there's a bunch of questions that you guys have asked, And if I know Bailey, he's probably answered most of them already for me. Like I said, man, me and him seem to be simpatico with the knowledge. So, all right, so that side is nice and smooth. Let's pull in our previous vent. Now, this is a good way to see if your sizes are going to match up. Just pop it right into the frame, and let's see. Width-wise, I think we're pretty good. Oh, yeah, we're just dead on there. That's... Shoo, boy. Nice. Okay, cool. So, perfect, right? So, we're going to take a pause on this. Let's catch up with the chat. I got to take off the eyes here because it's hot on those things. Let's get back to one camera here so I can talk to you guys. Excuse me. And let's get caught up. Let's see. Wow, you guys are talking a lot. Let's see. Kenneth Sim, chisel-wise, can try MadWorks light chisel set, currently using now, and it's near BMC quality. Downside, you need an Olfa knife handle to use it. That's not a downside, because the Olfa knives are sweet. That's my second favorite hobby knife, by the way, formerly my number one. You'll always have a place in my heart, Olfa. Bailey says, I like Kevin's 3D printed handles. They're designed to feel just like BMC handles. I think he posted the 3D files somewhere online a while ago. Drummer Dude says, oh man, heat sinks remind me of work. Looks great, man. Thank you. Let's see. A. Schultz with the book. With the book reviews, we're basically reading Gunpla Rainbow. Take me back to my childhood. Reading Rainbow. Let's see. William Wim says those handles are on Thingiverse. I guess Kevin's 3D printed handles. Excellent. Drummer Dude says, man, this is badass. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. You know, I want to try to give you guys a variety. I know here recently it's just been scribing and plating and detailing and stuff like that, so this is a little bit different. So get in where you fit in, right? Bailey says, creating these vents and heat sinks are much simpler than most people think, but man, it really dresses up a model kit nicely. KYG 1008 on Instagram has been killing the game with these details. Yeah, KYG, man, is a good dude. I really like a lot of his builds. You know, his scribing and things like that are not necessarily my flavor, especially on the Sazabi, the curved scribes and stuff like that I'm not a big fan of. But man, his quality and attention to detail, his craftsmanship are just mind-blowing. So if you guys want to follow a really, really good modeler on Instagram, it's KYG1008. KYG1008. Go give him a follow. You will not regret it. I'm telling you right now. Drummer Dude says, definitely going to keep my calipers now. Yeah, man, don't get rid of those calipers. You need calipers. Calipers are just crucial for scratch building, customizing, detailing, all that stuff. So, Bailey says, a trick I've seen that makes it less finicky to work with is to start with bigger pieces and then cut it down after. Yeah, absolutely. One problem that you may run into is evenness. Because I used to do that as well. I made some like custom shapes, you know, like beveled one side and things like that. I did that for the Ozymandias. You have to be super, super careful with evenness. So that one side is not, you know, uneven with the other. One side's not higher than the other or shorter and all that. It's not for the faint of heart. Let's put it that way. You got to be super, super careful. But that's definitely a good call. Let's see. Julius Dimsky says, I started watching the live at the Gundam Kitchen with Justinius Builds webisode, which has a lot of great information. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. It's been helpful and inspirational. Yeah, we love going up there, man. IRAD and the Gundam Kitchen, man, just a great place. If you guys are around the Philadelphia area here in the U.S., I highly recommend going and shopping there. IRAD is good people. He runs the Gundam Kitchen, and he also broadcasts usually on Thursday nights, most of the time. Sometimes, there's a pattern. I think it's 2 weeks on, 1 week off. I think that's the pattern for Gunpla After Dark. But basically, it's a shopping program. It's an online shopping program. It's like QVC for Gunpla, Home Shopping Network for Gunpla. It's awesome. He's got great prices too, by the way. So if you want to watch a really cool show, they got an After Dark afterwards, and that's fun to watch too, because sometimes I'll pop in there and just kind of, shoot the shit with those guys. They're great. So yeah, there's a few. I think we got 2 classes up on the good old YouTube channel right now. That and the photography class. So check those out. Those are good. Kenneth Sim, for me, I'm kind of lazy. Just grab the evergreen vents, plot plates. Nice. Yeah, it's another way. Let's see. Freddie Torres. Yeah, I love that stuff. The clapboard and metal siding from evergreen is pretty good. Yeah. Bailey says, what you're doing here, Tim, is what I value as a teacher, sharing the knowledge. Thank you, brother. That means a lot. That means probably more than you know. That's probably one of the highest compliments I feel I can get. So I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Astria Kai says, I finally finished my custom IBO kit. Awesome. That's really cool to hear. Let's see. Bailey says, I don't claim for a second to be an expert. I just like sharing what I've learned over the years. Yeah, hey, man, you got a good set of knowledge, dude. So you're right there, man. Usually always with good answers and stuff. So don't feel bad about that. Futabaoi says, so yeah, I guess I will try Heat Sink soon. Dude, yeah, it's therapeutic in a way, right? Let's see. Gamerbud says, the only thing I'm having trouble is my gold color. It seems more gold glitter than gold color paint or mix. Yeah, you have to be careful with the flake sizes in the metallics, because that will just kill the scale. If you have big flakes, don't even try it. It's tough because you have to look at it. The metallics for models of the scale that we work with, it needs to be super smooth, super fine. That's absolutely crucial for metallics. All clad is virtually perfect right out of the bottle. The Mr. Color metal series of paints are really, really good as well. To me, it has some really good ones too. They do have some that have larger flakes. You just got to be really careful with them, and just kind of look at the bottom and check. Excuse me. Let's see. After the 3rd layer, it looks a lot better. Awesome. Good. Let's check in over on Facebook, because our good friend Kira Yet is over there. A few months ago, I accidentally bought a Master Grade new Verka titanium finish, which is not a cheap price without knowing what the titanium finish was, I guess. And later I found out what it is. How should I clean the nub marks without affecting coating? That's tough, dude. That's real tough. The best thing I can tell you is just be careful. Take it slow. There's not a perfect way unless it's undergated, which I don't think that all the parts on that are. So yeah, that's going to be tough, man. You just got to take your time and just be super, super careful with it. Don't sand because that'll ruin the finish. Just use your hobby knife and just kind of whittle and shave down those nubs as much as you can. But it's gonna be tedious and time consuming, and attention to detail is going to be paramount at that point. So, but man, that's tough. Me personally, I just paint it, but I wouldn't get a titanium finish. But Kira sounds like he made a mistake buying it, so it's one of those things, right? Just one of those things. So. Bailey says, yeah, metallics are really tricky. Looking forward to seeing work with SMS metallics. Oh, they're great. The Super Silver is super smooth. So everything that I've had the privilege of using from Scott so far is really quite nice. I think you guys, once you get your hands on them, will be impressed. Will be very impressed. Kenneth Sims, he says, try liquid chrome from Molotov with clear red. Yeah, the Molotov markers are surprisingly good. If you're wanting that true chrome look, I find true chrome with Gundam not necessarily realistic, but if you're going for a more artistic feel, especially with like the armor and stuff like that, then go for it. If that's the way you want to, have your model finished out, that's completely up to you. That's your flavor. Do what you want. Vincent Longa says, for special coatings, I saw a tweet where they put thinner on a runner piece, which lifted the coating off, then dipped a brush in it, and sort of painted it on the nub mark. Interesting. So there you go, Kara. Let me read that again for you since they're two different platforms. For special coating, Vincent Longa saw a tweet where they put thinner on a piece of runner, and which lifted the coating, and then they took a little paintbrush, like a mini paintbrush, lifted that bit of titanium coating off of it, and then basically installed it over the leftover nub mark that obviously the titanium coating was no longer there on. So that's an interesting way of tackling that issue. Thank you, Vincent. That's shit. That might work. Freddie Torres says, all right, dinner time. Catch you on the next stream. Thank you for watching, Freddie. Hey, everybody check out Freddie's balls on Those Gundam Guys. Check out thosegundamguys.com. Check out SCGMC in November. Freddie's balls will be there, so go check out his balls at that. Look at his balls. His balls are great. Very artistic. It's a good-looking set of balls. Probably the best balls I've seen in a long time. Anyway, thanks for watching, Freddie. Hey, everybody. My mom's on Facebook. She says, hi, Tim. It's your mom. Hello, Mom. Thank you for watching. You may not get any of this, and that's cool, but thank you for watching anyways. Everybody say hi to my mom on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, obviously she can't see all over on here on YouTube or Twitch, but hey, she's on. GamerBud, so I want to make the red I'm putting on this gun to look darker and have a slight metallic look. Would adding a little gunmetal color to my red in a small portion be a bad idea? You got to be careful. Got to be careful. Little goes a long way when it comes to mixing darker colors into lighter colors. What you might be better off with starting with a clear red and then adding a bit of gunmetal to that. Because the opacity of the red that you start with is not going to allow that metallic to show through all that well. So starting with a clear color would probably behoove you to a little bit more success at that point. So there you Mom Bailey over on YouTube says, "Hi, Mom of Child of Mecha," or Mom of Mecha, as Bailey says. And Gamerbud says, "Or would I be safer using silver paint?" Yeah. Silver, clear red over it. Maybe add a little bit of clear smoke to it. Those are all options. Test it out first on like a scrap piece or a spoon or something like that to see if you're happy with that mix. But yeah, those are options. Gamerbuds also says, because right now the red I'm using makes the gun look like a toy because it is so bright. You could spray like a little, like I said, like smoke clear over it. It's the Army Painter War Paints Pure Red color. Yeah, you could take like a Tamiya or something like that. Like I don't know if Vallejo makes clear colors or not. I personally don't like Vallejo paints at all. But I know Tamiya makes like a clear smoke color. That would definitely give you that transparency, but then just kind of darken that up. It would basically filter the color. That's kind of what the term is for that, filtering. A. Schultz Berkana says, "Yeah, Molotov, I use them for replacing the silver stickers." Interesting. Yeah, maybe behind the eyes and stuff like that. Maybe put a clear paint over that that chrome. That would kind of look kind of cool. So yeah, there you go. Very cool. All right, so we're caught up. Let's jump back into this. Let's finish out this vent, shall we? So it's got to get the eyes back on, and then boom, switch over to 2 camera. Ammo by MiG has a crystal smoke color. Bro Builder over there on YouTube said that. Thank you, Bro Builder. Appreciate that. A. Schultz says, "Whoa, that's a good idea." I have good ideas every now and then, man. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. And you can use that in your next conversation. Feel free. All right, so last we saw of our little friend the vent here, we were sanding the 2 sides. Now, since these slats, these fins here are so thin, we need to clean that dust out before we proceed, because that could be a major problem here in the next few steps if we don't do that. So we need to make sure we get all of that out. Even go so far as to pull out the chisel and just kind of clear out the in-betweens of these fins here, because when we go to put the frame on, we need these fins to be completely clear of debris. And while I'm at it, I will even the spacing out on some of these too. Okay, so basically this is a 0.2 millimeter chisel, and the thickness of the connectors are 0.25. So this just runs right through, and you'll be able to clean the dust, debris, and all that good stuff out from between these things. And it's not focusing. Why am I not surprised? Sorry about that, guys. So you just run your chisel right down the middle of these gaps, and you'll clear out all of that dust and debris in there. And just kind of use a old toothbrush, just clear that out, inspect it for the debris, and that looks pretty good. Looks like we got a little spillover in one of these slats that I want to get out of here, because attention to detail is everything. Looking good. All right, so there. Now we have a perfectly cleaned up vent. Let's get zoomed in a little bit closer for you guys so you can kind of see a little bit better detail here. And So we've got that. Chisel discipline. Woohoo! And so for the frame, since this is 2 millimeters tall, we're going to use a 2.5 millimeter wide strip. This is 0.5 millimeter thick, so twice the thickness of each of these parts here. So it gives a nice contrast, and it, you know, obviously looks more like a box with the vent in it, right? So that's what we're going to do for this. So first, what we're going to do is we are going to trim off a piece about yay big. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. Now we're starting here with the slat side up. So we're starting on the high points, okay? Excuse me. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to use super glue, because this is the easiest, because we don't want the tibia extra thin running into the gaps between the fins on on this vent, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use our tweezers. We're going to grip one of these, excuse me, one of these frame pieces here. Now, what I like to use is just the backside of one of these sanding blocks, because they're nice and flat and even, and super glue doesn't really adhere to this all that well. It's a bit tough to adhere to. This is acrylic, so it's a little resistant. Not completely. You can see some of the scuff marks on here where it's, you know, kind of going through the ringer a little bit, but it's otherwise this is perfectly fine to have super glue on. So what we're going to do, and let me show you here real quick before I do it. Let's get super zoomed in, and I'm going to show you basically the process of what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to zoom back out and actually perform the task, okay? So what we are doing, let me lift this up here. Okay, so we are going to apply glue just to the bottom here, the solid edge, right down here where the connectors and the fins all meet, right down here. We want to be very, very careful of not getting super glue on these top sides here, on these fins, because the capillary action will draw the glue into these gaps, right? So we want to be very, very careful and just put a glue right down here on this bottom solid piece there. All right, we're going to do that on both sides. Okay, so let me get out a super zoom here. I almost said super glue. That would have been bad. And let's get to doing this. All right. So eyes down, and let's see here. Now you can use like a pin or something like that, you know, to be super, super careful. I'm fairly confident in my super gluing techniques here. So we've got glue on that edge. We're going to lay this down on to the flat surface here. We're going to grab our frame and our tweezers real super quick, and we're going to just press that right up against it. That glue will grab it, and then we want to make sure that it's even on the bottom, and just kind of make sure that that is nicely adhered to. So that looks really good. All right. And this looks even on the bottom. Looks like we got good adhesion. All right, so that is the first part of the frame coming together. Now, what I like to do is just simply trim this these ends off here real quick. You want to leave a little bit of overhang, not too much, because we're going to sand that flush in just a few moments. So you can, let's see, you can kind of see where here's the end connector. You can kind of see there's a little overhang here. That's what we want. But overall, that's pretty nice and trimmed up. This side could be a little bit cleaner. There we go, much better. All right, so now we're going to do the same exact thing to the other side here. We're going to get the two ends of our frame done up. So we're going to apply glue in much the same way, just to the bottom edge of that side. Set that down on the flat surface, grab our piece of framing, and pop that on the end. Let the glue grab it, and then squeeze that all up on the side there. Make sure it's even height-wise. And let's see. Looks like we've got good adhesion. It's always hard to tell with super glue because since it's clear, you never know if it's a gap or if it's the glue in the gap, right? So you need to be careful. And if you see a gap, just put a drop of super glue on it. It can't hurt. You can sand it off and trim it off afterwards once that's cured. It's not a big deal. So, all right, so now we've got this other side done here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to trim it up. Okay, so again, overhang on both sides, just a little bit. I think I left a little too much, so we're going to go back, trim that just a little bit more. Come on, let me get off of there. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a nicely trimmed frame on both sides. This thing is flat, completely flat on the bottom, looking really good. And what we got to do now is put the other two sides on. Excuse me. So, but before we do that, we need to even up the side frame to match up with the connector. So what we're going to do is just sand that down flush with our sanding block. And once that's nice and flush, it should just basically look like a wide U shape. And you want to be careful to not apply pressure to too much on one side, because then you'll have an uneven, non-squared corner. You won't have a 90-degree corner. And just do the fingernail test, because if your fingernail catches a gap, then you know it's uneven. But that's nice and smooth there now, so that looks really quite good. We're going to do the same thing the other side here real quick. We're going to even this up, sand it nice and smooth. Okay. And fingernail test. Bang on. Sweet. Okay, so now the last bit of checking that we need to do is we need to make sure that this is even all across the board. So we're going to get our calipers again, and we're going to see what the thickness is here. And what I like to do is grip the piece like this, and then hold it up in front of the light. If you see light shining in on either side, then you know there's a gap. Plain and simple, right? And I actually did see light shining in on this side. So I just want to double check 100% again, just to make sure that it maybe wasn't gripped unevenly or something like that. It looks square to me. Huh. Okay, so I think I see what's going on here. Let's check the width on either side. Okay, so that reads 6.41 on this side. This reads, let's get that nice and squared in there. This reads, come on, square it up. This reads 6.45. Okay, so it's what, basically 5/100ths of a millimeter off. which is, in my opinion, acceptable tolerance. So, with that being said, we're gonna push forward here, and what we need to do is do the same sort of process on these unfinished sides, but we also need to apply glue on the side of the frames that are there as well. Now, luckily, you're not going to have any capillary action from the fins in this orientation, so we don't have to be nearly as careful as we were. Forgot to cut the piece of strip here. So we're just going to get that applied super quick before the glue sets up. Okay. Make sure that's nice and adhered to all the way up on those corresponding side frame pieces there. Okay. Come on. It's got a little grip to the super glue. It looks like some of it ran out underneath. Not a problem. Just want to be super careful. I could probably rip this off here, but I don't necessarily want to do that. So we're just going to get underneath of it with the good old flat chisel blade, and it popped right off. Easy. All right, so that's nice and flat on the bottom, looks nice and even on the top. So now we're just going to trim these two sides down like we did with the other ones, leaving just a tad bit of overhang so we can sand that flush here momentarily. Okay, and then we're going to do the last side of the frame. So let's get that cut before we apply super glue, because that's actually the smarter thing to do. So, oh, all right. There we go. Get that into the tweezers. And here we are. Let's get this last side glued up. Get the eyes down so we can see what the hell we're doing. Okay, so that side is applied. Let's get the last frame piece on here. Make sure that's nice and adhered to. All those side surfaces, because that's important. Okay, cool. All right, looks like we got good adhesion. So we've pretty much got a frame built up on this thing. We're going to trim these two sides. Again, almost flush. We need a little bit of overhang so we can sand that nice and flush here momentarily. But what I like to do is actually trim this down beforehand. So I just use my hobby knife, and you guys have seen me do this before. Just let the surface, corresponding surface, just kind of be your guide, and that will trim it up quite nicely. Okay. Just go super slow with that procedure because you don't want to cut yourself. And just let the blade kind of do the work, and nice slicing kind of motion. And of course, do the fingernail test. And if it catches on anything, you know it's not flush. All right, so we've got those four pieces, those four sides, four corners almost trimmed up here. There we go. And now we can actually sand it completely flush, finish this thing off. So we're going to sand those two edges. Nice and neat. Let's check our sizing. Ooh. you guys. Oh, that's pretty much dead on. There's a little bit of discrepancy this way, but this width is just perfectly solid, right? All right, one last step to do. Actually, two more steps to do. We need to make sure that the frames are flush. So we're just going to quickly sand the top of the frames to make sure the height is even, and then we're going to sand the bottom just one more time just to even it out, make it just dead ass flat and straight. All right, so now one last step, and that's the nice little chamfer around the edges. So what I like to do is to take my hobby knife, because this is just a very subtle chamfer, and just kind of start by scraping the four edges first, and that'll start to take that corner off. Okay, now you could very well end here with the chamfering. You don't have to go any farther than this, but what I like to do is take it just one more step in the smoothing out process from the hobby knife, because depending on the pressure that you apply, there could be unevenness in the chamfer. Okay. Bailey says, when you get to this, Tim, sorry for so much chatting, but we're having a good conversation in here as usual. Hey man, that's all good. I'm just showing you how to make a scratch built vent, right? So you guys talk all you want. I'm good with that. So we're going to take our sanding block, and we're just going to sand that chamfer nice and smooth, just on all four sides. This is side 3. Also a good colony. And here's the last one. And that just makes it just super smooth, super even. So now one last thing we got to do is just clear out any of the debris that might have fallen in there. And now we're going to compare our two finished vents. These lined up properly. Let's get zoomed in. Super zoom time. Right there. Super zoom. Look at that. That's not bad, right? Look at that. That is not too shabby, you guys. Those look pretty much identical. Like I said, there's a well, no, this side, look at that. That's perfectly even this way. But I think this way, one is a little off. Oh shit, no, maybe not. All right, well, let's double check all the other sides then. No, look at that. That's, shoot. I didn't think I'd be able to achieve that, I'll be honest with you guys. But there you go. Scratch built vent. Now, for variations, you don't have to make the frame around it. You can just finish off the four sides of the fins and kind of make that just as like a normal heat sink. Or you could do it like this. You can make some frames for it and then cut out part of the armor, pop that in on that, make it recessed, make it look really, really cool. And yeah, there you go. So Kenneth Sim says it's time-consuming, technical, but detail is key. Yes, sir. Oh, Jay Lynch, you missed it, buddy. You got to rewind it. You got to rewind this one, man. This was a good one. You missed some good stuff. But hey, thank you for checking in, man. As always, Jay Lynch is a constant here on the Child of Mecha live stream, you guys. But yeah, dude, Jay, I just finished showing how to put these together. Or putting one together. I had one finished beforehand, and then I showed how to finish off the other one. So it's a good watch, I think. Anyway. Oh, you guys, Jay Lynch just got back from an anniversary date. Happy anniversary. Come on, everybody in the chat, happy anniversary, Jay. Come on, everybody now. I don't care if you're a lurker or not. Wish him a happy anniversary. Come on, you guys. Let's get some love going on. Happy anniversary, buddy. That's awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations. All right, so let's see. Let's do a time check. 11:39. We're gonna do something else here, but I do want to get caught up in the chat just a little bit. I know you guys were having some cool conversations, Bailey said, but man, I want to get caught up with it because I want to know what I missed, right? Oh, look, Jay, you're even getting love over on Facebook, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Everybody give some love to him. That's great. Nice. Look at that. Now they're starting to stream in. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the love for Jay and his significant other. I don't want to make any assumptions, but man, that's awesome. Happy anniversary, buddy. All right, so let's get. Wow, you guys are talking up a storm in the shit. Let's see. Wow. Keep going. Okay, so I think I'm to the point where I left off. Let's see. Drummer dude. Okay, y'all. This was 20 minutes ago. Wow. Gotta go to bed. 4 a.m. comes awfully fast. Take care. Take a look in Mech art book. It's Gunpla Rainbow. Nice. Nice. Well, drummer dude, if you're watching this afterward, have a wonderful evening. And thank you for watching. Appreciate that, buddy. All right. Let's see. You guys are talking about wet palettes, hand brushing, all that good stuff. Check out Lincoln Wright as well. Man, good hand painting guru there, and he's got a good channel, Paint on Plastic, on YouTube, as well as on Facebook and all that good stuff. Give him a follow, give him a subscribe, all that good stuff. You won't be disappointed. Let's see. Ace Schultz, all right, I'll be back in a bit, going to watch an episode of Black Sails with my buddy. Great show, by the way. I loved that show. I wish it was still on. It was so good. I watched it from beginning to end. That was great. All right, so Ace Schultz, which if you don't know what Black Sails is, I think Game of Thrones with pirates, it's a prequel to Treasure Island. Yes, it is... the goings-on of most of the characters before Treasure Island took place. So it was great. It was on Stars here in the U.S., probably different channels outside of the U.S., but man, what a great show. What an absolutely great show that was. I loved every second of it. Let's see. Wow, yeah, you guys are talking wet palettes and all that good stuff. Bailey says, I liked Black Sails when I watched it a while back. The lead guy is also in Lost in Space. Yeah, and he was in, he's been in a bunch of things here. He was in that Benghazi movie with John Krasinski. I think it was, what was it, 13 Hours, I think it was called. That was a great movie. I loved that movie. That was really good. Krasinski was a beast in that movie. I mean, he's a beast in Jack Ryan. If you guys have Amazon Prime, check out Jack Ryan. You will not be disappointed. I'm telling you that right now. You know what? Let's switch back to one. There we go. And I'm going to talk to you guys. Yeah, dude, Jack Ryan is awesome. It's only 8 episodes, somewhat short of a series, but man, every single episode will have you on the edge of your seats. My wife and I absolutely love that show. Go check it out if you have Amazon Prime. If not, bootleg it. You won't regret it. Get it how you get it. I don't care. All right, let's see. Catching up. Yours with us, Gamer Bud. I have that issue with my 1/5 of my Vallejo dropper bottles. Only option is to get a new nib, or you will end up with dried paint all over the threads every single time. That's why I don't like Vallejo, man. Seriously. Awesome. Hey, man, on Facebook, I guess I'm probably gonna butcher your name, so I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it. Vo Chong Wan. I hope I'm saying that right. He says, "Thank you, Sensei. See you next time and good night." Thank you, man. Good night to you, sir. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. I hope I didn't butcher your name so badly. I really do. I'm bad at pronunciations. No Lost in Space spoilers from William Wilms. I just started watching it. Yeah, I need to watch that one too. I haven't watched it yet as so far. Let's see. Talking about Vallejo nozzles and everything. Okay, I think we're about caught up. Look at all the happy anniversary love for Jay Lynch, man. Awesome. He says, "Look at that. Thanks, my girl is happy for the shout out." Oh man, we did something cool, you guys. That's great. That makes me feel so good. So good. That's awesome. William Wilms has 2 episodes left to finish Jack Ryan. So intense. Dude, the last couple episodes are just mind-blowing. They're just like so freaking good, dude. You will love the last 2 episodes. Julius Demke says, "I wish they would remake Treasure Island using the same cast." Yeah, I know. There were rumors kind of swirling around after Black Sails ended about that. Bringing Long John Silver back and having him full beard, the whole 9, Billy Bones, all of it for Treasure Island, and it just didn't seem to go anywhere. It's unfortunate because that was a great series, and I think a remake of Treasure Island would be equally as good. So yeah, I would love to see that. Jay Lynch says, "I heard Humans is really good." I heard the same thing. I want to check this out now. It looks interesting, right? Like the first season, I was just like, it looks okay. I don't know. But man, really good from what I've heard. So I got to check that out too. For those of you that have Hulu, another show recommendation, and I know we're getting off on a tangent here, and I do want to show you another small technique that might be useful as well, and then we'll finish it out. But hey, you know what? Let's do Tim's TV recommendations real quick, shall we? So for those of you that have Hulu, there's the Stephen King show on there called oh my god, now the name escapes me. What's it called? Shit! Now I gotta look it up. Damn it! Wait, you guys, just stay right there. God damn it. Oh, why can't I remember? Castle Rock. Shit, Castle Rock. Yes, Castle Rock is really good, you guys. It's got Bill Skarsgård in it, that played Pennywise in the movie It, and he is equally as creepy in this show. He actually plays kind of a human, I guess, at this point. We're not really quite sure, but he hasn't changed into a, maniacal clown or anything so far. But it's a great show, great high-level kind of eerie, really classic Stephen King storytelling with that show. So if you have Hulu, check that out. William Wilm says, "Anybody have thoughts on Altered Carbon? Haven't seen it yet." Yes, I loved Altered Carbon. So good. I loved every second of it. The characters are great. They have a book about it. They had the book. The show is based on the book, from what I've understood, loosely based on the book. So it's kind of like Game of Thrones adaptation. But I've not read the book, but the series is so good. It's beautifully shot. The scenery is so lush, and it's always changing. The concepts are really high level sci-fi. It was great. It was one of my favorite shows on Netflix. I'll be honest. It's so good, so good. Yeah, Bailey and Jay Lynch are saying, yeah, Altered Carbon is really good. Yeah, those were great. Switching back from sci-fi though, if you guys were fans of the show Sons of Anarchy, like I was, love that show. They just premiered their spin-off called Mayans, which is a I guess a rival motorcycle club there in that kind of world. And man, first episode was banging. Just really well written. The story just kind of grabs you and doesn't let go. It was really, really good. So if you're into that genre, that kind of, outlaw drama sort of show, check out Mayans. It was really good. Very, very entertaining. I can't wait to see more of this show because, man, really good characters so far. Really good characters so far. And somewhat timely, especially here for the U.S. as well. So, watch it. You'll understand. Jay Lynch, he says, you need to check out American Gods. Yes. Oh, yes. Great show as well. On Stars here in the U.S. Might be a different channel outside of the U.S. But, man, American Gods was great. That was another really, really good show that I can't wait to see come back on, right? Just the whole mixing of the mythological gods, kind of in with human stories and them trying to kind of get back on top. It's a winner in my book. Winner in my book. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. William Wilm says, it isn't a new show, but I was super happy when Netflix got the BBC Sherlock Holmes series with Benedict Cumberbatch. I really do want to watch that. But knowing that there's so much time between seasons, it's like I don't want to get involved with it and then wait for the next season for like 2 or 3 years. That would just be very disappointing. But another good one on Netflix from BBC is Peaky Blinders. Now, not as well known as obviously a lot of the other shows that we've talked about, but man, Peaky Blinders is about this crime family in I guess Ireland, in Dublin, I think it was, or roundabouts, and it's right after World War I. So a lot of the characters in that are World War I veterans coming back, and they're suffering from PTSD. Some of them really badly, some of them too. But man, it's this crime family, this Irish crime family that just goes crazy, right? So really, really good show. I highly recommend Peaky Blinders. Go look it up on Netflix if you have that, if you like those kind of crime dramas. And man, really, really good. Beautifully shot too. The cinematography on that show, man, it's like you could take any frame from that and it could be like a awesome photograph that you would want to hang on your wall. It's really, really good stuff. Jay Lynch says, have you seen Mindhunters? Man, another good one. Yeah. Mindhunters, just real quick, and then we'll jump back into it because I know we've gotten off on a tangent again. Mindhunters is, for those of you that don't know, it's a Netflix series about the early days of the FBI doing profiling of mass murderers or serial killers, right? And these two FBI agents are kind of I guess pioneering the profiling program into the FBI. And this was happening back in, like, I think the 60s, 70s era. I think it was the 70s. Yeah, it had to be the 70s because it was after Charles Manson. They fly around and they interview different serial killers, and this is a dramatization. These are not, the real people in this show. It's not like a documentary or anything. But some of the characters portrayed are real people that have done real crimes, real nasty crimes too. Man, it's so encapsulating, and it just reels you in. It just grips you right in the back of the head, and it just doesn't let go. Some of the acting in that is just outstanding. Like some of these crazy serial killers that these guys portrayed, just mind-boggling characterizations of these hideous people. In some ways, it almost makes you want to feel sorry for them, which seems counterintuitive because they're serial killers, right? But it's just, it was a great show. If you guys are into very cerebral sort of dramas, yeah, Mindhunters is definitely a good one to pick up. And if you're into comedies well, I should say dramedies. Man, there's something about Orange is the New Black that I love. It's just a charming series. So, it's super funny in parts. It's super sad in some parts. Orange is the New Black. Seriously, if you haven't given it a try yet, do yourself a favor. Give it a shot. All right, let's get back to modeling. Okay, but that's been the live stream suggestions, TV suggestions and stuff for shows. So go check out those shows. You won't regret it. I will say that. So let's get back over to 2-camera here. All right, low. So let's where did I put that thing? Here we go. All right. So shoulder, right? So I started working on the other shoulder. Oh, we're in super zoom, aren't we? Let's get out of that because we don't need that. We do not need that. Here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, so I started working on the other shoulder, and I don't want to necessarily show that to you right now because it's not necessarily anywhere, excuse me, to where I feel comfortable showing to you thus far. So I'm going to show you just kind of the other shoulder that I haven't done anything to. Now we're going to take this apart, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you armor separation or armor surgery. Okay, so with this shoulder piece, you have this plate here, right? But then you have the top molded in with the other side. And then when you put them together, you have a strange gap here that you don't have there. Now, what you could potentially do is scribe a line right here where that gap should be. Focus, camera, come on. Killing me, buddy. But what I like to do is to separate the piece and just have them completely one piece. So we're going to do that here real quick. So let's get the eyes on. Now, there are a couple ways of tackling this. You could use a hobby saw. This is just a Hasegawa tri-tool photo etch saw in just an Olfa utility knife handle here, right? So you could use this. You could saw that thing like this, and you could probably get a pretty decent cut with it. But for this, I want complete and total accuracy, right? So what I like to do is use a chisel. Now I know what you're saying, Tim. How are you gonna cut a piece of armor with a chisel? What are you trying to do? You trying to scam us here or something? No, not at all. What I'm going to do is scribe this down so that the chisel goes through. And this gives you super precise separation. So let's get locked in on the piece. Come on. There you go. There we are. And so now what I'm going to do is adjust my eyes here. And we're going to just start scribing right along that edge. And we're going to start applying pressure. Now I know scribing lines, I say let the tool do the work, but in this case, you want to give it a little help. Now you don't want to go all the way through just yet because you've got this other side here that we got to get. So we're going to start scribing that side. We're going to connect these two lines. Now, one thing that you could do is scribe with a 0.2 millimeter and then grab your photo etch saw, because the kerf, the thickness of this blade is actually 0.2 millimeter, and you could run that along the scribe line and still get a pretty decent cut, but you have to be careful of wiggle on this, right? So what I like to do is I still like to use the chisel here and just kind of scribe through. And you'll start to feel the plastic get super thin. Because it'll actually sound different too. It'll start to get like a hollow sound rather than a high, screechy sort of sound. And then you'll see that the chisel will break through the plastic. So this side is now completely separated. But if you look underneath, you've got these two support pieces here that we've got to get through. So what I'm going to do first is get through the panel completely, and then we'll worry about those two supports here momentarily. Okay, so we're completely through the actual panel, right? So now what we can do is use our hobby saw, slot that in there, and just kind of go to town very easily, very carefully on these supports. And there we go. Now, look at that. Now, you have 3 pieces instead of 2. Super, super easy. Now, with this particular shoulder, both of these pieces slot on just like they do originally. They would if you didn't have it upside down. They pop on, and this has the 2 support little beams here to go into the slots on the shoulder itself. So that just slots right on, and then that side pops on. And now, if you center everything up, you will have a nice, even gap on both sides. You may have to do a little bit of sanding, but that's how you do armor separation, guys. It's not hard. It's not hard at all, right? The other part here, I'm going to show you those parts of the other shoulder real quick, because what I did, because I'm a perfectionist at this, is I added a strip of 0.25 millimeter to one side. Focus. This damn camera. It's killing me tonight, guys. But I added a 0.25 millimeter strip to this side. This is the cut side. So now this just slots right in, and there is zero gap between the top part and the two sides. And as you can see, I kind of added a little bit of height to this side. I'll show you that in another stream once I finish up with this shoulder. We'll work on the other one together. But that's kind of the direction that we're going with the shoulder as of right this second. So there you go. Armor separation. Pretty cool. Pretty easy. So we did that. Did our nice little scratch-built vents. Took a little bit of time. Was a bit tedious, but that's what we got. 12:04 on the dot. Not too bad, not too shabby. So let's get this back into one camera. Let's wind this puppy down. Let's get caught up on comments. There's not a lot. Gamerbud says, so mixed my red with plate mail metal color and got a really nice metallic red that is the perfect shade I need. Going to be doing the same with the blue I painted painted earlier. Sweet. Gamerbud, thanks for the tips, guys. That's awesome. I'm glad this is fostering help amongst people. It's pretty damn cool. William Wilm says, love it when a plan comes together. Hannibal, A-Team. Nice. Love it. Love the reference. Love the reference. All right, so let's finish this one out. Let's get to business here. So, guys, again, if you want to pick up one of these awesome 90s Gundam t-shirts, you can do so in the Child of Mecha store. Just hit up childofmecha.com and click on the store. There's a bunch of t-shirts on there, a bunch of hats, a bunch of bags. Soon there will be pillows. And maybe some other stuff. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that. But pillows that are definite. Those are coming soon. Also, too, go donate to the Gunpla Talk fundraiser, if you will. Goes to a great charity, the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. One lucky donor will win a perfect grade Astray Red Frame. Got to keep thinking about that. That's such a long name. And then a few other donors will win the little mini busts from Paint Pusher when I'm on. So those are coming. So donate if you haven't donated. If you are not in the position to donate, we understand that times are tough for people all the way around, no matter where you are in the world. Hey man, give us a no, Gamerbud, you will not get a Child of Mecha Tim face pillow. That's creepy because I don't know what you're going to do with that pillow. It's just not going to happen, dude. Not going to happen. Anyway, if you can't donate, that's cool. Give us a share. Share us to your Facebook friends, your family, maybe your favorite Gunpla group, maybe on Instagram or Twitter or something like that. Go grab that link, share it out to the world. And you know what? Drop a line in your local hobby store too. Let them know. Let the people in there know. It's for a good cause, right? So got that. What else? All the tools and stuff like that we went over. The Chappie book that we looked at a little bit earlier. Those are all on the Amazon link just below. That goes to help out the stream. Also, the streaming setup, a lot of the gear that I use is on there now as well. So if you're interested in that, if you want to get into streaming, by all means, I absolutely encourage you to do so. It's a fun time. We have fun at this. All that gear that I use, except for the computer, which I'm writing an article about. I'll show you what we use and the software and all that. That's all up there on Amazon as well. So if you want to get any of that, that's available. And that's all I can think of at this point. I think we're done. I think so. So, all right, guys. Until next time, I'll see you on Monday, same time, and thank you for the great stream, guys. Hope you guys learned something. I think we did something a little bit differently. A little scratch building, little modifications and stuff. I think that was good. We had some good conversations. So a great way to finish out the week. So yeah, and GamerBud says there was no Andrew, so had to channel his inner troll. Nice. I like it. I like it. Good night. Good night. All right, guys. Until next time, thank you for watching. Watch us again on Monday. And be careful out there. Have a great weekend. Build something cool this weekend. All right? All right, guys. See ya.